Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we are actually going to be talking about 10 crypto altcoins to keep a close eye out on, as they do look like they could very well explode this cycle. And as we are getting closer and closer to the Bitcoin halving, it looks like time is running out. So you need to make sure that you are aware of some of the gems and you're locked and loaded in terms of your portfolio and you are ready for this cycle. Now, with all of that being said, I do just want to let you guys all know that none of this is financial advice. There is significant risk to crypto investing. You could always lose all your money. So please be aware of that. Make sure that you are taking calculated risk. Make sure that you are prepared for anything, and make sure that you are not over investing and you're not investing more than you can afford to lose. So with that being said, let's dive on in. So when we look at Google Trends, we are still seeing that Bitcoin and the interest around this entire market is pretty much low, right? Even Bitcoin interest, although we have been seeing a lot of discussions around Bitcoin ETFs, mainstream media is talking about it all day long, interest is still pretty much low on Bitcoin. And it's nothing too surprising when it does come to Bitcoin, because again, this is pretty much flatlined for a bit of time until we start to see major moves being made. Like, for an example, going back to December of 2020 into, of course, January of 2021. But what about all of crypto? Because you would expect for the search engines to be going crazy with cryptocurrency, but guess what? We actually know that it's not. It's pretty much dead, which means that we are still very early into this next cycle. The Bitcoin halving is inching closer and closer. VCs are still pumping in money into the space, which we will go over in a second. But again, retail interest, the herd, is still pretty much gone. They're not here yet, which means a lot more money is most likely going to flow into crypto later on this year. Even altcoins also down significantly in terms of interest, and crypto itself also down in interest. At the same exact time, that is, if we go over to VC deal flow on crypto fundraising, we could see that the VC space is still pretty much hot. You could actually see a lot of money flowing in to specific sectors, and we have been watching those sectors, obviously making calculated decisions and investments based upon the VC amounts of money coming in. Because again, remember, VCs will pump our bags. They are not going to just throw money to the wind and say, yep, let's see what happens. No, they are also doing significant research into some of these projects, and they know what they are investing money into. So they are ones to also watch for. This is also how I find a lot of altcoin gems, by looking into what the VCs are investing into. And it's actually very good to know this information, because you can catch early gems before they hit 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100x plus gains. So definitely keep a close eye on crypto fundraising, as this is a great website to actually utilize as a tool in your arsenal to find incredible undervalued gems. Now, outside of that, right? What is a gem that I actually found from this website that I do think is going to be a huge winner by doing research into the team, into the product, and actually doing a substantial breakdown on the project? Well, it's Gelato. So I've been looking into Gelato heavily. And the reason why is because this is under a $100 million market cap. Its fully diluted market cap is $370 million, which we should address, because again, this is the most suitable market cap to really kind of go off of, not just this market cap up here. 100 and almost 10 million tokens in circulation, 420.7 million total supply. Now, the reason why I do think that Gelato could be a big winner is it's kind of like Solana in terms of, you know, where the VCs were really kind of throwing money into. So as we look at tokenomics, very similar, except Gelato does have less total supply than Solana. But one thing that I will mention here, right, is that Gelato is not exactly Solana. This product, from what I've been doing research on, this is just a cloud platform. Now, we've talked about cloud platforms in the past and why I do think that cloud platforms are pretty big. I think that just cloud services around blockchain that are decentralized are going to be a big hit. But what I really like about Gelato is the simple look of their website that's actually very clean. I also like the overall look of this and the design. It's actually pretty high quality. Everything is very transparent when it does come to Gelato, though. You could find their team very easily. Pretty much everything around this project is actually very transparent, which is something that I really value when it does come to research around specific projects. But like I said, it's not exactly Solana, but I do think that considering it does have VC backing and it is pretty much around the same tokenomics, it could have a similar run. Now, does that mean that Gelato is destined to go to $10+ billion in market cap and things like that? Not exactly, but I do think that it could have substantial returns in terms of ROI leading into this next cycle, simply because, again, VCs will continue to pump their bags. They've always done this. They did it with Solana, especially back in 2021. This is where a lot of VCs were getting into Solana, and as you guys do see, it did hit over $200+. In my opinion, I do think that Gelato could easily hit the $1 to $10 billion plus range in terms of market cap. Now, could it go much higher than that? Sure, it can. Again, there's higher risk in holding a bag to specific targets than taking profits from it, de-risking, and making sure to get your initial investment back, which is always crucial when investing. Now, the next on the list is Constellation Deag. So again, Deag is one that I have been watching for a bit of time around the data scene, tokenized data, making data transferable. Data is the new oil in the digital economy. Deag has been around for a while. It's been one that I've been watching for a while as well. It has substantial partnerships and also connections to government agencies. This is one that I think is going to be a big winner in this next cycle, simply because, one, tokenomics on this thing are fairly good. Obviously, 34% of the circulating supply is only out there, but the inflation rate of this token is not substantial like other tokens. And also, yes, there is staking services and things like that that are paid out in Deag, which is why the circulation supply will inflate over time, but it's not like it's going to kill it or anything like that. In my opinion, there's a lot behind this token that a lot of people are not looking into. A little bit of research will open your eyes to why Deag is going to be a big winner, especially around the data scene, but also it is a crucial play around Web3 as well, if you do believe in the Web3 vision. In my opinion, I do think that this one could very well hit $1+, which is substantial gains. Next on the list, Good Games Guild. Now, I'm always weary when it does come to a lot of these gaming tokens. Now, the big problem that I have with this is the circulating supply and the max supply. Circulating supply is self-reported. So this is a big concern to me. Obviously, I would like to see a full-on audit of this before I do put any money in. But I do think that this is one to watch for, considering the fact that if you do go over to their social platforms, they are very, very active. They have a very large following, which means that the community, right, the community itself is well engaged, and it is also fairly large, 150,000 followers. But they also do have quite a bit of backing by a lot of VCs as well. But like I said, they are very active on socials. They are always making noise, which is one thing to also look at. You never want to invest into a project where the team is practically gone. There's not a lot of discussions on their socials. This is one that has been very, very active in the space, especially around gaming. And gaming, like tokens, when we really look at gaming tokens right now on CoinMarketCap, they are hot. GameFi is a big one to also look at. But beyond that, I do think that GGG could very well do very well. If you do have concerns about audits and things like that, you could always look into that. You could always look into the contract itself and do a little bit of research. You could also research a lot of the wallets that are tied to the team and things like that if you are concerned. Again, this is a higher risk play, which means make sure that you are doing your research. Just don't go off of my words when it comes to a lot of these investments. Beyond that, Ultra. So Ultra is, again, another play in the gaming scene, but this is actually a platform. You probably know that I mentioned this in the past. I mentioned this in previous videos because I do think that Ultra is going to be a big play, especially around the gaming sector. Like I said, market cap wise, 62.5 million, fully diluted market cap, almost 172 million. This is one that I've been following for a while, since going all the way back to 2021. And even since then, they have been continuously building, developing, and making a lot of noise. If you do go check out their socials, again, this is one that does have over 100,000 plus followers. So they put in the time, they put in the effort. They've been around since 2018, but they are very active. Just recently, back in December, they did welcome to the Citadel Revenants. These are games, right? Like, this is a platform that is a breeding ground, if you will, for a lot of these major games. And I do think that this is one to watch, because a lot of the games that are launching on Ultra or coming to Ultra, they're very high quality. Like, for an example, this game here that did get announced back in December. But beyond that, they have been very active promoting the platform. They've been very active with a lot of information, which is, again, another thing that adds a star to the benefit. I always say transparency. When you look at the team, are they very transparent? Do they have substantial background? All of this stuff is things that you want to look into before investing a single dollar into a project. You want to do as much research as possible because research is so damn crucial, especially when you are putting your hard-earned money to work. But beyond that, I do think that Ultra is going to do very well. They've been a very high quality team. They've been around for a while. And again, I think that their overall use case around gaming is very, very diverse, considering the fact that most of these gaming projects, it's a gaming token that is tied to a specific game. This is actually a platform, and the token powers the platform. And it's great. I mean, I personally have been looking into Ultra for a very long time. Next up on the list, Bayot. So again, this is a project that I've been including in a lot of my videos recently because AI is a big sector. It's a massive spotlighted sector. Obviously, everyone knows how big this sector has been. A lot of money has been being made around the AI sector, very similar to real world assets and even gaming. Bayot has been established for a little bit of time. Had a rough launch, I will say that. Launched right around April of 2021. Again, most altcoins actually topped out around April to May of 2021. So this never really got to establish itself as a bull run runner or anything like that, which is why I say like you really want to focus on a lot of those projects that didn't get the bull run, that do have a large amount of potential behind them and quality projects. Again, this is one that has been making some noise over on some socials. For an example, here we have almost 50,000 followers. Again, I just like to look at the community because community is a big thing, especially during a bear market. It actually allows some of these projects to continue to operate and run. Without community, a lot of these projects will essentially die out because there's not a lot of noise, there's not a lot of support. A lot of these projects, they do need marketing. It's as simple as that. They're not massive blue chips yet, so they do rely on a lot of marketability. But beyond that, this is one that has been growing tremendously over the last couple months. And it's been one that I've been looking into because it is a very diverse AI play yet again. I don't like to look at the cliche like, oh, we're doing automated trading or we're doing automated liquidity services. I like to look at ones that are doing different things around the AI sector. This one is actually focused on law firms and legal assistance, which is very cool around AI. It's one that is very diverse in its own way. But this one has been doing very good. We called this in the Patreon actually around like 4 or 5 cents. And has been doing very good, but still it's extremely undervalued at a $40.6 million market cap, fully diluted $53 million, only 400 million tokens out there, almost 7% of the supply is already released. This one could very well be a major runner, especially considering the fact that it did not establish itself in the bull run. Next up on the list, A0. So there's been a ton of FUD around Aleph Zero, but this is a project that I've been following since going back to 2022. It's been around for a little bit of time now because again, 2022, it seems like it was yesterday, but almost 2 years ago now. But this has been one that I've said like anything around $1 or under $1 screams buy for the long term. When we are talking about things like Solana, tokenomics wise, this has very good tokenomics, and this I would say is very close to Solana in terms of what it is. But beyond that, this doesn't have VC backing like Solana. So don't look at this as like, oh, VCs are going to pump this. No, but I do think that Aleph Zero will have a substantial run in it, considering the fact that the overall ecosystem is very substantial. They've also been absolutely killing it on socials, almost 200,000 plus followers, and they've been going to a lot of these major events, making sure their name is known, making sure that they're making as much noise as possible. Tons and tons of development and moves being made, constant updates as well, and this one has been growing tremendously. You probably already know about Aleph Zero, but again, I do think that everyone needs to focus on this one. I know that's not as low in terms of market cap as other tokens, but this one is sitting at about roughly almost $300 million market cap, fully diluted almost $400 million in market cap. I still think that this could easily 10, 20, 30, 40, 50x possibly in time. Again, it all depends on how established they are. Again, don't take those figures literally because, again, we don't know, right? We can only speculate. But I think that a fair play on this one is at least a $5 to $10 billion market cap for what they've been doing. for how the team has been very active and for all the development that has gone into LF0 over time. So definitely focus on this one, add it to your watch list. Again, this is one to keep a close eye out on. Next up, Morpheus Network. So recently I just included this in a video actually where I was talking about how this could be just as big as XDC. This is one that does not get looked at as often as it should. I mean, the team has been very, very vocal, some solid connections as well. We actually go over to their socials as well. We could see that they have about 45,000 followers. They established themselves with some very large integrations already on the platform. Again, this is a project that has been very active. They've been talking about what they're going to do, and they've been doing it. They've actually tapped in already on their roadmap, and it seems as though they have a very substantial team. Like I said, a lot of their team members actually come from substantial players in the supply chain of finance, which, if you guys don't know, Morpheus Network is actually disrupting the supply chain scene. So having those players on board, having those players a part of the team really kind of solidifies the fact that Morpheus Network will be around for a bit of time. And if they do become very successful in what they're going to do, then I do think that this is going to be a major winner. But again, a lot of that is long-term. In the short term, do I think that Morpheus Network will also be a big winner? Yes, I do. Considering the fact that this has sub 50 million tokens in terms of supply and total supply, guys, this thing is a crazy undervalued gem. We just recently did a full breakdown on it. A lot of the connections are very strong. Almost $5 million market cap, fully diluted, almost $55.2 million. I do think that this has a ton of potential in it. Going back to 2021 versus now, they have established themselves as leaders in the supply chain scene, and they've continuously been building and expanding. So I do think that this is one that you should definitely look into, especially if you love the utility side. So definitely keep a close eye on this one. Next up on the list, Alliance Block or Nexera. Recently going back into the middle of 2023, they did have a bridge exploit, and it wasn't on their end. It was actually on an ecosystem player's end, and it did cause them to relaunch into Nexera. Before, this was ALBT or Alliance Block, like I said. Now they renamed it Alliance Block Nexera. It has been doing very good. This is one that I've been focused on around the real world asset space. Tokenization is a huge one. They are really kind of building out a bridge between traditional finance and also DeFi. They already have some substantial connections made already. Sub 1 billion tokens in terms of the total supply, almost 90.5% of the circulating supply is already out there. Sub $100 million market cap, fully diluted, almost 101 million. This is already on some great exchanges. It's very easy to get if you do know your way around the space. But beyond that, I do think that this is one that could easily hit, again, around that $5 to $10 billion range, and it could even go higher. Again, I've talked about it in the past. I think that this is a great long-term play, but short-term, this could very well net you a ton of ROI. Next up on the list, Telcoin. So Telcoin has been around for a bit of time as well, established itself in the space. 2021, massive winner. I do think that in this next cycle, it is going to be a huge winner as well. This one, very similar to Alliance Block, recently experienced an exploit. And the team was actually very quick to fix this. Basically, what happened was the Telcoin wallet code itself was not the issue. It was actually with the proxy implementation of the wallet on Polygon. So this actually impacted wallets that have never initiated transactions. They have deployed a fix for it already. This was back in December. Since then, they did release a large portion of the supply to actually reimburse all of the holders that were affected on the app, which I thought was incredible. Again, the team has been building very, very well. They've been doing a lot of work, and it's one that I've been focused on for a while. Again, they established themselves back in 2017, almost 100,000 plus followers. They have been very, very active as well, really kind of pushing the DeFi narrative to really kind of mainstream. They want to have and they want to tap in to the mainstream audience around DeFi through mobile phones. And I do think that they've been doing very good in that area. They've been absolutely killing it lately. And I do think that going into this next cycle, this one could easily hit its recent all-time highs, which is right around roughly 6 cents. But I do think that it could even go higher to around the 10-cent zone. So definitely watch this one. Keep a close eye on them. Low volume, almost $1 million in volume, which is kind of crazy to think about, but I do think that Telcoin is going to erupt later on this year and become a big spotlighted project. Now, next up on the list, and I saved the best for last. And when I say the best for last, I saved the one that has probably the least amount of ROI left in it. Simply because, again, this has almost a $1 billion fully diluted market cap, almost $400 million in market cap itself. But I do think that this is going to be a big winner. A lot of people already wrote this one off simply because it did hit all-time lows. But CeeLo has been around for a little bit of time, and it's been one that's been very vocal, and their community is absolutely massive. If we actually go over to their social media account, we could actually see almost 451,000 followers. Guys, this has been one that's been around for a bit of time. And if you guys know about CeeLo, then you know what they are doing. They are a big player, especially around the EVM side of things. Definitely keep a close eye on this one because, again, I think that this is going to be a project that does wake up in a big way. And I also think that it's going to be one that a lot of people kind of get blindsided by simply because they kind of overlooked it or they just forgot about it since it made all-time lows. It's actually kind of up there with a lot of the OG tokens. So if we actually go back to CoinMarketCap and we scroll down. So when I talk about OG tokens on this channel, I mainly look at things like Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum Classic, even Atom technically is a little bit of an OG now at this point, but mainly the ones that have been around for well over like roughly almost 9 years now. Even Monero has technically been around for a bit of time. It just recently had a massive sell-off due to Binance delisting and things like that. Privacy tokens are a little bit in the crosshairs at this point. But there's a lot of great OG tokens that have been around for a bit of time, and I would technically put CeeLo in that basket. But it hasn't been around for that long. It's been around since like roughly 2020. But I do think that this is one that's going to wake up in a big way. And I think that it could very well challenge its all-time highs from 2021, which was right around like roughly $7 in the quarter. So definitely keep this one on the watch list just for something in the background. There is greater altcoins out there other than CeeLo. Like, for example, I like Curve a lot as well. Casper's great. HBAR is great as well, but a lot of those already have substantial market caps already. But this is one that I have been watching for a little bit of time. I don't actually have a position in CeeLo. I actually don't have a position in all of these tokens, but they are 10 projects that I do have included in my watch list, and I have been focused on them for a bit of time. But with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe to notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, thanks for watching. This has been Nick. Peace out.